Imagine sitting in a Stanford classroom, winter of 2011. Kelly McGonigal walks in, announces she'll teach you about willpower, not as a moral failing, but as a wild, biological force inside your brain and body. You think, great, more nonsense about just try harder. But then she reveals something unexpected. Your willpower is not just a muscle that runs out, it's a misunderstood instinct that can be trained and even sabotaged by stress and guilt. So what if the secret to getting a grip on yourself isn't trying harder, but something totally unexpected? Let's break it down. We all think of willpower as a heroic act of discipline, right? But McGonigal flips the script. She shows us willpower lives in your body, not just your mind, and it's shaped by biology and brains, not just sheer grit. In Kelly McGonigal's Stanford course, a student named James got hooked on this idea. James battled binge eating every night after work. Instead of shaming him, Kelly explained how hunger hormones and stress circuits hijack willpower, rewiring his brain like a biological storm. His failures were actually his brain begging for help. What came next? A powerful shift in how he fought temptation, no longer with blame, but understanding. Think of willpower as a three-ring circus inside your head. The I want monkey swinging wildly, the stop elephant trying to hold the reins, and the mindful ringmaster keeping the act together. When stress hits, that ringmaster trips, the monkey runs amok, and the elephant freezes. This dance explains why dieting, quitting smoking, or just doing your damn homework feels like wrestling a beast rather than a simple choice. Here's the kicker: beating yourself up when you fail only feeds the hungry monkey. Yet, practicing self-compassion is like handing the ringmaster a megaphone. Those moments of forgiveness boost your brain circuits, strengthen your self-control, and set you up to win the next round. Turns out, kindness to yourself isn't just fluff, it's neurochemical fuel for willpower. You've heard the classic advice: willpower is like a muscle, it gets tired the more you use it. Kelly calls bullshit on that. The truth? There's a twist that changes everything about how you manage your energy and choices. Kelly tells the story of a group of students tested on resisting tempting cookies, then forced to do math problems. Their ability to resist tanks after mental effort, but it was muscle fatigue. It was their brain sending a danger signal. You're stressed, time to conserve energy. The surprise? This wasn't failure. It was survival mode kicking in, rewiring the way we think about discipline. Imagine driving a car with the emergency brake half engaged. Too much, just say no, puts your brain in that state. Increased heart rate, overwhelmed stress systems, leading to burnout and rebellion. The ironic outcome? Too much self-control can actually harm your health and backfire, making you less in control overall. So what's the fix? Think of willpower like a smartphone battery, not a gym muscle. Sleep, nutritious food, and even brief exercise charge your brain's self-control circuits. Kelly shows that 20 minutes of walking or meditation can reboot your battery, giving you more grit, patience, and clarity instead of draining you to zero. Temptation doesn't just quietly whisper, it hijacks your brain's control systems, especially when you're stressed. Kelly dives into how those cravings sneak in, and more importantly, how you can train your brain to resist their silent takeover. During her research, Kelly saw how under stress your amygdala, the brain's smoke alarm, goes haywire, flooding your circuits with urge signals. One participant's story sticks. After a tough day, she hit the vending machine not because she was hungry, but because her brain's alarm system took over. The real battle? Training that alarm to recognize real threats, not just daily annoyances. Mindfulness is your secret weapon here. Imagine you're a security guard watching those impulse hijackers try to sneak in. Mindfulness trains you to spot the hijacker without instantly reacting, like seeing a cat versus a tiger. That tiny pause rewires your brain's responses and helps you regain control before the hijacker yanks the wheel. Over time, these moments add up. One small daily exercise Kelly teaches, just noticing cravings without giving in, rewires your prefrontal cortex, your decision HQ. The payoff? You build a stronger, more resilient mind that can shrug off temptations with ease, like an athlete training reflexes for a final championship play. Ever spiral into guilt after a slip-up? That shame's actually your enemy in disguise. Kelly flips this common pitfall on its head, revealing how self-forgiveness and kindness aren't just moral choices, they're powerful willpower tools. Kelly recounts a participant who binge-failed one night and then bombed the entire week trying to quit sugar. The guilt wasn't just emotional torture, it triggered stress responses that sabotaged her next efforts. Instead of motivating, guilt turned willpower into an impossible battle. The loop was vicious until she learned to treat failure like data, not doom. Self-compassion works like a soothing balm for your brain's reward system. When you treat yourself kindly after a failure, your brain releases dopamine in a way that fuels motivation rather than freezes you in shame. It turns out that kindness taps into the same rewards as success and rewires the pattern of response to failure. This means every time you forgive yourself, you're effectively hitting the reset button on your willpower system. You get a fresh start instead of a sore loser mindset. Over time, the setbacks shrink and success gets easier. Forgiveness isn't weakness, it's your brain's secret weapon for lasting change. Sounds weird, but sometimes giving up control is the best way to gain it. Kelly explains why surrendering certain battles can reboot your willpower and lead to wins you never thought possible. Kelly shares an experiment where people tried suppressing thoughts of a white bear. The harder they tried not to think about it, the more it dominated their mind. When people accepted the thought without fighting it, the obsession diminished. This paradox shows how fierce control attempts can backfire, and recognizing urges without resistance reduces their grip. The book also covers the story of a recovering smoker who gave up the fight to never crave. Instead, he learned to let cravings come and go like waves in the ocean. This giving up strategy paradoxically strengthened his willpower and led to long-term abstinence, proving that control sometimes means letting go. Finally, your willpower isn't just personal, it's contagious. Kelly notes that having friends who practice self-control boosts your own. Seeing patience and healthy choices modeled rewires your brain's social circuits, making self-control a group effort. So, picking your crew might be your smartest willpower move yet. Remember James in that Stanford classroom? His binge eating wasn't weakness, it was a biological signal screaming for a smarter approach. The Willpower Instinct shows that willpower isn't a moral crusade but a dynamic mind-body skill you can train, with kindness, mindfulness, and knowing when to let go. So next time you stumble, don't lean harder on guilt. Instead, try this, notice your urge. Breathe. Accept it like a curious friend, then choose your move. That small pause. It's your brain's reset button. Press and reboot your willpower right now. Subscribe for more book summaries like this one.